Hello, 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 beautiful gems. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Mika. I recorded doing this DIY Dollar Tree wreath. I wanted to bring it to you because I thought this was pretty cool that I was able to create such a beautiful piece just using Dollar Tree items. For the most part, you could say that. So if you're interested in seeing how I do this, stay tuned. Okay, fam. So what you're going to need is the wreath wire from Dollar Tree. This is already half completed because I had already done it, and then I undid it just so that I could actually show it to you. So this is the wreath wire, and I'll show you how I wrap the garland around this. And then what you're gonna also need, some flower picks. This one, I absolutely love this one. It came like this, and then I actually cut it with enough wire so that, I wasn't sure what I was gonna do with it at the time, but I'm happy that I left enough on it so that I can actually wrap it around. So I actually got far with the wreath, and then I decided to record, so I actually undid it. You also need one of these wire cutters. So you will need some ornaments of different sizes and different colors and shapes and whatever else you want to do with them. And then you'll also need some ribbon. So I got this one, which is like a twine. And then I wasn't even sure what I was going to do with it, but it was pretty, so I just picked it up. And then ribbon, which I actually used on my Christmas tree, so I'm going to use the same one on the wreath to kind of tie this into my Christmas tree and pull the look all together. So that's what I have right here. I'm going to show you how I wrap the garland around, and then also how I do everything else. So stay tuned. Okay, fam. So here I am just pretty much showing you that I used two garlands and twisted them together so that I can get the fullness that I wanted for the wreath itself. I don't like it too thin, and Dollar Tree has the 15 feet garlands, but they're kind of thin. So I used two of them to get the fullness that I wanted for the wreath overall. So that's pretty much what I'm showing you here, how I twisted it together and then tuck the ends in together to pretty much make it tight and bring it together. So I'm just pretty much starting here with taking the end and wrapping it around one part of the wire, and then just wrapping it around the entire thing. So, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. You'll see it here. Um, but you just keep going and make sure that it's tight or taut, because you don't want it too super tight that you can't move it around if you needed to. But you want to make sure that it's taut, that it is, tight enough and pulled well enough. Okay, when you come up on the end of it, you're going to just wrap it around, and the same thing you did to the beginning. Like, here goes the wire. You see it? Like, there's a little space here. You do the same thing. Just wrap it, and then just wrap it around at least one of the layers of the wire. Okay? And you're not really going to even see that because you push it all together, and voila. Here you go. There you have it. This is where the fun begins. Now what we're going to do is start adding, oh no, I'm lying. we're going to add the twine. So this is it, and like I said, I already had did it and then I unraveled it, so that's why this is like this, but we're going to just wrap it around this. So I'm going to start by finding part of the wire and just making a tie at the back of the wreath. This is the back. I'm going to just tie it like a regular tie. And I'm going to do it loosely so that I'll be able to undo it later on, because I'm going to use the same wreath later on in life, in the future, and I'll just keep changing the looks of it. I mean, you know. So that's what I'm doing it, how I'm doing it right now. So, alright, so now it's on there, and what you do is just literally wrap it around the same way you wrapped around the garland on the wire. But I'm doing it at a slant. Alright, so I'm going to slant it just a little bit. With the end, you're going to do the same thing on the back side of the wreath, okay? You're going to just find the wire and just tie it. And literally just tie it the same way that you tied the other one. Just a regular tie. And you don't have to make it too tight, okay? This is one, but I'm going to tie it again, just because I don't want it to unravel. Follows up, which I don't think would be the case, but I'm gonna do it. Right, so I actually didn't realize that this ribbon would not be showing. Initially, when I started doing the wreath the first time, I liked the way it looked, and so I thought, I'll incorporate it when I actually filmed. But by the end of the video, which you will see, none of this twine actually showed. I think it's still good, just to have like a backup for it. But yeah, it didn't show at all. So um, I think you could actually just skip that part of it unless you don't fill the wreath as much. So that way it will show. But it's just another option. And here I'm just pretty much showing you one of the picks that I got from Dollar Tree. And it has a clip, so I'm just pretty much clipping it onto the wire of the garland um, that, we wrapped around the wreath wire. So you just clip it on that, and then you just kind of see where you want those pieces, because I wanted to put one on each side and then at the bottom. Being that the bow was going to go at the top, I didn't have to worry about that, and I had 3 of them. But here I'm just pretty much showing you how to clip it onto the actual garland wire. Okay, so the reason why I said pretty much in the beginning when I said, that I'm using Dollar Tree items pretty much for the most part, is because I actually found these picks at Walmart as well. Um, and I got the only one that was there. And it's like the same exact thing at Dollar Tree, but Walmart actually had it for 97 cents. So it was actually less than $1 for this pick. But everything else, literally everything else, was from Dollar Tree, including the cutter and I believe the glue gun might have been from Dollar Tree as well, if I'm not mistaken. But the glue sticks definitely were from Dollar Tree. So, yeah, all the ornaments, everything else is from Dollar Tree. Okay, so here I'm pretty much showing you how I pull, pulled it through the wire of the wreath itself, the wreath wire. Um, and then I wrapped it around the flower just to kind of secure it. So initially when I started doing the wreath, I thought, let me secure it in a way that I'll be able to pretty much pull off all of these, decorative pieces and use the wreath each year and pretty much create a different one each year using the same basic structure, right? Just the garland wrapped around the wire, the wreath wire. Um, but you'll see later on that, yeah, that just pretty much went out the door because the glue gun came into play, honey. And at that moment, it was just over at that point. So I probably could have just skipped this and just like literally cut off the wire pieces and then just glued all of those on. It probably would have um, went quicker, but I actually didn't mind doing this because I was able to take it off and move them if needed throughout the rest of the process. So I kind of didn't mind. Right here, I'm just showing you how it looks so far with the placement of the ones that I put on already. And I think it's good to kind of see where you are with it and then see where you want to add the rest of the things, such as the ornaments. So at this point, the glue gun pretty much came into play and never left, honey. Never left because from the moment I started gluing and I realized how quick and how easy it was and how secure the pieces were, it was just over at that point. So it was just like no turning back. So I just pretty much glued all the ornaments on. I thought I would have been able to like use the wire, the hook that you hook on the Christmas tree and kind of hook it and wrap it around similar to what I did with the picks, but that wasn't working out. So I scratched that and, I was like, you know what? It's actually fun to make the wreath, so maybe I could just make a new one each year and just create different ones and pretty much bring those videos to you, like, make it like a thing, a tradition. But I definitely enjoyed making it, and I do look forward to making more in the future. So, yeah, I'm just pretty much playing with the ornaments right here and trying to see, where I would want them. And, the ornaments are different, so you want to kind of um, move them around so that they're not like, not all in the same area or you don't have the same ones in the same area. You kind of want to like mix it up if that makes sense. And that one with that orange line on there, I did take that one off um, because that one just came messed up in the package from Dollar Tree. But you get a whole pack for $1, so you're not sweating one of them. You know what I mean. Okay, so that one that fell off was not the glue gun's doing. It was not secured. So, you know, just FYI. But these pine cones that I'm showing you, I am so extremely happy I picked them up when I did because I wasn't sure if I wanted to get them. Like I picked it up and thought about it and then put them down. But something told me to just get them because I felt like I wasn't going to see them again. And when I tell you I have not seen them in any other Dollar Tree. And so I'm so happy that I picked them up. And these were literally the only two that were there. So I'm so happy I picked them up. And the wire cutter was not even able to cut the wire because it was so thick. It was so thick and so strong. So these pine cones were definitely high quality and just for $1. And I wish I had gotten more, but I'm gonna be on the lookout for them next year. Okay, so I'm pretty much showing you what the wreath look like so far. And then these I'm cutting them the same way I cut the flowers, pretty much with some stem on there so that I can wrap it around. I find that, the ones with the wire in them, it made it so much easier because I was literally able to like wrap it around and move them about as I pretty much create the wreath. Because, if something didn't look right somewhere, some of the pieces I was at least able to take off and move around. They weren't glued down like the ornaments were. So that's pretty much what I'm doing here is just trying to, look at it and see if I like the placement of it. I wanted to kind of bend them so that it kind of has like a clockwise kind of look to it. Or maybe they just stick out to kind of give that like pop effect. I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do or how I wanted it to look, if I wanted to do it both ways. But you'll see what I pretty much decided on, because I played around with it quite a few times and got it to where um, I actually liked it. So that's pretty much what I'm doing here, playing with the pine cones, of course, and that wire. I literally had to just end up wrapping the entire thing around the entire wreath because it would not cut. It was so thick, and that was literally the only and best thing for me to do. So it worked out. It worked out in the end. And, worst case, if I want to take it off later on, I can. But yeah, I mean, it might be over for this. I might just be leaving it as is. But you get the point. Okay, so here I'm just pretty much fixing the pieces, but then one of them came apart, which of course, again, it's $1. So I just used a glue gun and glued it back on, and that way I knew it was secured for the rest of the time. And then I'm also just bringing in some other little pieces and things that I had and trying to see if it works, if the color works, because I wanted to kind of keep it in the silver, champagne, goldish kind of theme because that's the colors of my decor in my living room. So I wanted to keep it that way and just make sure that the color actually matches the Christmas tree. So at this point, I was trying to get an idea of the bow because I've been, watching some YouTube videos and looking up different types of bows. And, I kind of wanted to go with an easy one, being that this is my first time creating such, a large bow and wreath and everything. And so I was trying to figure out how to do it and how to make it easy. Um, and I honestly tried it this way. Like, I honestly tried it. I was going to, just, I'm like, okay, I got this. It's not that hard. But listen, you'll see. It got to a point where I was just like, you know what? Yeah, this isn't working out. So I'm going to show you in a little bit what I ended up doing for a bow because I don't know about y'all, but you can see it looks like I'm struggling with this. Like, uh, you know, I don't know. I guess it would have been a beautiful mess, but I was really trying. So I'll show you in a bit what I ended up doing. So you're probably wondering what happened to the large ornaments. If you've stuck around by now, you would have seen that I actually didn't use them up to this point. So I was trying to fit it on there, and I had to kind of move some things or take off some things to try to like make it fit. Um, so I took off one of the picks and tried gluing it on because right? Like I glued on all the other ones. But yeah, I just I thought it would have looked good, but I just kind of didn't like the look of it. So after all of this, I took it off. You guys could tell me if you like the big ornaments, if you think they would have looked nice if I had actually incorporated more of them. Because I've seen some wreaths with the large ornaments and they look nice, but I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it. So at this point, I pretty much got rid of the big ornaments and I went to my Christmas tree and looked for some ornaments that may have different shapes and colors. And I found these um, differently shaped ones, and I thought they were perfect. And they were. They were absolutely perfect for the wreath. And, obviously my Christmas tree matches the wreath. So the ornaments, tied everything in together. So here I just added some more of these types of picks because I realized that I actually loved the look of them. So I went and got more for my Christmas tree. And, don't worry, I have enough ornaments and stuff for my Christmas tree, as you will see in the end. Um, so I wasn't worried about it, but I loved how these looked, so I took them and decided to use more of them in the wreath itself. And I absolutely love, love, love them. Okay, so this is actually how the wreath look at this point, with everything that I have shown you so far. But then I went back to Dollar Tree and I found these. And at first I thought maybe I would have just used them for the centerpiece in the living room. But then I decided to kind of just add them to the wreath. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that, but I decided to just go ahead and do it because why not, right? Hey, it's all trial and error at this point. So here I am just placing these around the wreath. I'm just sticking them in just so I can see how it looks as far as placement goes. And then once I am settled on a spot, I pretty much tighten it. Now, I was going to do a separate video for this, but Christmas has come and gone, and I'm so sorry already to be getting the video out to you so late. So I just felt like it was pointless at that point to kind of put out two separate videos for it. But next year, I would definitely do a separate one um, on the bow because this was a challenge in itself, y'all. So if I can find an easy way to do these bows without having to do it the ways that I, seen it on YouTube or whatever, then I'll definitely show you guys that because, yeah, I kind of took the easy way out. Because when I tell you the glue gun came and never left, I literally meant it. That's pretty much how I put together the rest of the wreath because this bow, honey, this bow was a challenge in itself. And I know I keep saying that, but it literally took me like maybe a good 3 days or so. It actually dragged out the video because I was hoping to have the video up way sooner. But then I kept playing with the bow day after because I didn't want it to look botched, right? I wanted to make sure the wreath looked good and, what I'm showing you guys actually looks good and makes sense and something that you'll be able to mimic and do. Um, when you decide to remake it. So I had to figure it out. It didn't make any sense for me to put out the video and I didn't have it to show you. So it kind of dragged it out. But this is pretty much my way of making the bow, y'all. And I'm so happy with it. I mean, and maybe those professional bow makers will look at me side eye and be like, this girl have no idea what she doing. But let me tell y'all something. It looks good. Okay, y'all gonna see at the end of the video. So don't judge me just yet. All right. So instead of me wrapping the ribbon around and trying to find the right side of the ribbon so that the right side is showing, when you twist it and all of those things, I just decided to just cut it, y'all, and glue it. So that's pretty much what I'm doing here. This ribbon is super thin. Now, Dollar Tree had tons of other ribbons. I mean, so many different types. But I got this one for my Christmas tree, and I wanted to, again, like I said, tie it in with the wreath. And so, that's why I decided to kind of use the same ribbon. Now, if you have a thicker ribbon, this may not have been such an issue, but for me, it definitely was. Part of it even ripped, as I'm showing you here, and I'm just using a glue gun because, like I said, the glue gun was life at this point, okay? Um, so I'm pretty much just gluing these pieces, and then I'm going to just attach them together and go from there. And I do want to caution you when using a glue gun because, especially at this point, you know, the glue gun is extremely hot, and then this ribbon is super thin, so I had to be careful. Now, I have a lot of experience with using a glue gun, and for me, I knew how to maneuver with it, but it does get super, super, super hot. So you just want to be very, very, very careful when you are using it because it's, essentially hot glue on your skin. So you can get burned by it. So you just want to be very careful. If you have one of those gloves or something that you can put on to protect your fingers, then you can use that, just until you kind of get experience with it. But like I said, y'all, at this point, I was just trying to get this boat done because it had already been like days at this point. So I needed to just get it over with. And when I tell you this glue gun saved the day, honey, because yeah, I was over this bow at this point. Okay, so after I glued the smaller pieces together and created like 3 or 4 small loops, I then measured out pretty much a longer version of the loop so that I can create the longer piece behind the smaller center pieces. And then I'm pretty much just gluing the larger pieces together because that will be the back of the bow. So that's pretty much what I'm doing here. I knew the bottom part wasn't really going to show, so I didn't really too mind, like how that part looked. But the top part, I wanted to make sure that it was, measured out correctly and like, the loops were perfectly, you know, placed because obviously that's the part that's going to be out and showing the most. So I've actually had three of the small loops glued together, and that's going to be the first layer of it. And then I had five of the larger size loops in the back. So I pretty much attach the first layer, as you see, to the back piece. And again, you want to be very careful with the glue gun because this ribbon is see-through. But if you have a different kind, a thicker one, it may not have um, been, so difficult with the glue gun. But like I said, again, I'm a little more experienced, so I did, maneuver around it. But you just want to be extremely careful. So at this point, I'm just going to attach on the back pieces now to create the foot of the bow. And I'm just showing you the back of it. Okay, y'all, and this is the final look of the bow itself, and I am so extremely happy with how it came out. Like I tell you guys, um, for my first bow, I think I did a great job. So now I was just trying to figure out how I want to attach the bow, being that, again, remember I said I wasn't going to make it so permanent, but I don't know. At this point, I was just trying to figure out how I wanted to attach it. So I tried using the tinsel straws and putting it through, I think, a zip tie or something else along those lines would have probably worked better because the tinsel straws were super, super thin. But I was able to get one of them through the mesh part of the bow and then pretty much twist it onto the wire just so that I would be able to kind of have a placement of it and kind of see if I should move it around or twist it or turn, like pretty much fix it onto the actual wreath at this point. So it was just a placeholder for it, just so that I can really see um, how and where I want to kind of attach it onto it permanently. So as you can see at this point, I'm pretty much just using the glue gun and attaching the bow. It was, again, the easiest and best way, I think, at this point to pretty much stick this onto it. And I did move some things around after this point because, when the bow actually goes on and you really see the overall look of it, I kind of wanted to tweak some things and move some pieces around. So, I kind of wanted to play around with it and see if I like the look of certain things. And yeah, I mean, with everything that I added, I think I did a great job with it. And I'm super, super, super duper happy with how it came out. So please leave a comment. Tell me if you like it. And please like and subscribe. This is the finished look of it, and I would definitely um, love to hear your thoughts and what you guys think I should do next year. I mean, really, it's this year. I hope this video finds you and your families well, and I wish you all a wonderful and prosperous 2021. So, happy holidays, y'all. Stay safe and have a wonderful new year. Thanks for watching.